Greetings, Blackman United Methodist Church. This is Brother David with a preview video for Sunday, March 6th, 2016. This being the first Sunday in March means that this is Communion Sunday, which is always a special time in the life of our church as we remember and we celebrate what Christ has done for us, the sacrifice and the love that was shown to us through his sacrifice, so that we may have not just life, but life abundant. So, as I said, this is always a special time in the life of our church as we celebrate this sacrament, but this Sunday is going to be a little bit different. We're still going to participate in the Great Thanksgiving, but just a note that I wanted to pass along is that this month we will be singing the responses in the midst of the Great Thanksgiving. Our choir will be leading us in that, so it'll be a little bit different, but it will still be a unique and a special time for us. So just kind of be aware and be prepared for that little change within our communion service on Sunday. And it may be something that we look at doing every so often as we move forward. So just wanted to make you guys aware of that so that you can be prepared on Sunday morning. Now getting to the sermon for this week. This week we will be continuing our sermon series entitled, I Give Up. Now, during the Lenten season, we have been using our sermons as opportunities to look at things that God wants us to give up, not just for 40 days during Lent, but things that God wants us to give up forever. We've spent our time looking at giving up control, giving up expectations, giving up attitudes of superiority. And this week we're going to look at the idea of giving up enemies. Now in Luke chapter 6 verses 27 through 36, but also in Matthew during Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, he encourages his disciples and his audience to love their enemies, to pray for those who mistreat them. And this is an idea that sounds great in theory, but in all honesty, it is extremely difficult in practice. Loving our enemies is hard to do. But in loving our enemies, we're choosing to give up enemies and to choose forgiveness instead. And I think Jesus talks about this because Jesus knows the power that enemies can have on our lives, the impact that they can make on our attitudes and the effects that they can have on our relationships, not just with those enemies, but our relationships with other people. And this week we're going to talk about giving those enemies up and choosing to forgive instead. Because just as powerful as enemies can be in our lives, giving them up and choosing forgiveness can be even more powerful than what the impact those enemies have in our lives. Again, this is difficult in practice, but it is necessary in order for us to follow Christ. So we'll spend some time looking at the idea of giving up our enemies and choosing to forgive instead, choosing to follow Christ's example of forgiving even those who wish ill upon us, giving up our enemies. I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Have a great day, and God bless.